Hello, my name is James Conrad, and it's my pleasure to be here with you for the 70-642 Network Infrastructure Exam Preparation Series from CBT Nuggets. We're going to be doing quite a lot in this particular series. There's a lot of things to take a look at. And you'll see that the list of nuggets that we have, or we call them nuggets, but you might call them videos, but we call them nuggets around here, and there's probably, I think there's 28 of these different things. So we'll be talking about a lot of different topics, starting with IP addressing. This is pretty critical to any administrator that wants to manage the network infrastructure. You really need to understand TCP/IP version 4 like the back of your hand, and also you need to know some new things and emerging things in Windows environments at least about IP version 6. And that's going to be quite a challenge for some of us sometimes. So we'll be taking a look at that. We'll also be taking a look at DHCP. This is the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, and it's a great way to automatically configure your clients so that you don't have to visit each machine and painstakingly configure them yourself. So a very, very easy thing to work with in a broad scope. And then we'll take a look also at routing. This is very important because we want to make sure that your network data gets to the proper endpoint and that doesn't get lost or the packets get dropped somewhere. So we'll make sure that we get our routing taken care of. And then we'll also take a look at IPsec. You know, network security is increasingly important. It's always been important, but now more than ever. And IPsec is a great way to make sure that your traffic is not only properly authenticated, but even encrypted, so that if someone tries to pick it off the wire, they get pretty much nothing. They just get a bunch of encrypted garbage. Not much they can do with it if you're using IPsec. Very good tool. Much easier to configure now in Windows Server 2008 than it's been in previous versions of the operating systems. And then we'll also take a look at network access protection, And network access protection is a terrific way to make sure that only the clients that are healthy connect to your network. So if you have a laptop user out of the office and they might have not gotten their most recent antivirus updates and then they connect to your office, well, they're vulnerable because they're not up to date. So with network access protection, we can kind of quarantine them and put them in a special place in the network, kind of the timeout corner, so to speak, until they get the proper updates. We'll also be taking a look here in the 70-642 exam series about routing and remote access. This is another pretty critical item for current networks because just about everybody is using RAS nowadays. What you can get with this in these topics is you're going to learn about network address translation. You're going to learn about things like virtual private networks using PPTP, SSTP, L2TP. Lots of other kinds of acronyms that we won't even go into right now. But we'll be taking a look at all of those things, how to easily configure them and make good connections with them. We'll also be taking a look at things such as radius and some stuff like that. But we'll also take a look at wireless networks. This is increasingly popular in a lot of environments right now. Even though there were initially some security concerns, I'm going to show you how you can secure wireless networks so that it's really pretty secure, and it's not quite the concern that maybe it used to be. We'll also take a look at firewall settings because this is going to be pretty critical in making sure that only the appropriate people can, or computers, can communicate on your network. We'll also take a look at name resolution. This is especially critical in an Active Directory environment, which depends upon DNS to operate properly. But we'll also take a look at briefly at things such as flat namespace resolution as well. And then we'll also take a look here at file services. This covers a lot of different things, such as share permissions, NTFS permissions, offline files, and the encrypting file system. All different sorts of things like that, as well as the volume shadow copy service, backing up your systems, lots of different things that we'll be looking at here as well. And then we'll conclude our 70-642 with the following topics, including Windows Server Update Services, which is a great way to make sure that all of your clients are up to date with the latest patches and fixes and security updates and the like. This pretty much automates a good part of that for you. And then we'll also take a look at the event logs, and this is going to be really pretty critical in identifying whether or not the system is operating as it should, or if there are services that are failing, or if there are applications that are crashing, and things like this. We'll also take a look at performance. This is going to be important in identifying the bottlenecks that might exist on a system. Maybe it doesn't have enough memory. Maybe it doesn't have enough hard drive space, or the drives don't perform fast enough, or it needs another processor. Well, how do you know if you need those things? Just because it's slow? No, because you're going to get scientific data out of Performance Monitor, and we'll take a look at that. And then finally, we'll conclude the series with network data. One of the key things there that we're going to be taking a look at is the ability to capture network packets using Network Monitor. And boy, there's just a whole bunch of stuff there that's very useful in analyzing your network. All right, then I got to tell you, I really consider it a privilege that you trust us with your training. I want you to also have a good time with this series. I really enjoyed making this series, and I do hope that you enjoy watching it as much as I did making it. Well, with that, let's go ahead and get started with our next nugget.